δουλειά του, αγαπάει τη χώρα του. There was an English philosopher, Alexander Pope, a writer, who said, do the work well because that's where the honor lies. And I know he learned many things at the University of Pennsylvania, which is an outstanding Ivy League school, but I think he probably learned that from his mother and father, who raised a very good person. Now, this is a very prestigious organization, and it's incredibly important. Now, before I talk about Greece's future, γιατί έχω πει οι καλύτερες μέρες της Ελλάδας είναι μπροστά μας, θέλω να πω για τα πίσω χρόνια. Την κρίση. You couldn't turn on a television without seeing Greece mocked. As a matter of fact, they labeled us one of the pig nations. Μας έλεγαν γουρούνια. Και τώρα να δεις πώς τα πράγματα άλλαξαν. The fastest growing economy in the last 3 years in Europe. The fastest growing economy in the past 3 years. In 2021, 8.4% growth. In 2022, 5.9% growth. Now in 2023, we're in the midst of it now. The numbers are unbelievable. It turned out in 2022, Greece had a primary budget surplus. Something very few countries have. And it looks like in 2023, we're looking at an actual surplus. It's the Greek economic miracle. Now, what they would say at the beginning of the year is Greece will grow at 3 times the rate of the European Union. Now, as they're getting more specific, UBS, one of the leading financial institutions in the world, has said Greece will grow at 4.1%. In this inflationary climate with rising interest rates, that is something that very few countries will achieve. At the same time, unemployment has come down from 28% to 10% and dropping. Debt to GDP, which peaked in 2020 at 206%, this year will be at about 162%, and in 2026 about 135%. It is no longer the largest debt to GDP in Europe. That is a distinction that other countries have. If you look at Greece's debt profile, it's extremely attractive. If you look at foreign direct investment, multinational companies have found Greece. Γιατί? Because Greece is resilient. Οι Έλληνες είναι πανέξυπνοι, είναι επιστήμονες, θέλουν να δουλέψουν. So, when I tell you that companies have found Greece, there are more than 850 new jobs at Pfizer, Tsούνη, and growing. Shell, Amazon Web Services, Google, Microsoft, Ameresco, Deloitte. Some of the leading companies in the world have found Greece and are looking to grow here, reversing the brain drain. Now Greece, in addition to being an economic leader in Europe, and I appreciate the irony now, look at Greece's role in helping Europe with its energy issues. Years ago, leadership in Europe thought it was a good idea to sole source energy to one country, Russia. Maybe they didn't realize that the Russians were using it in an extortive manner. Maybe they didn't realize that when Russia invaded Georgia and Ukraine in the past and took Crimea, where borders were allowed to be changed by force, interrupting the international rules-based order that has existed now for generations, it was because Russia held a gun to Europe's head, that they can shut off the spigot and we couldn't turn on the lights. Well, things are changing. Greece is now quickly becoming an energy hub. Bulgaria would not have gotten through this winter if it wasn't for Greece. Όταν μου λένε τι κάνει η Αμερική για την Ελλάδα, να σου πω κάτι. Η πέρσι 60% από το γκάζι που ήρθε μέσα στη Λετούσα ήταν από την Αμερική. 2 years ago was nothing, now it's 60% and it's rising. And soon we will get rid of Russia, we will deleverage Gazprom, and we will get Russia off of Europe's neck. Exactly. And what happens to Greece as they become the energy provider to Southeast Europe, they become more important. Their geostrategic importance is now at an all-time high. The relationship between the United States and Greece is at an all-time high. Now, for years, my predecessor, my friend, Ambassador Payet, had said that Greece is a pillar of stability. Well, now we refer to Greece in an additional manner. They are the essential ally in the region. As no country can go it alone. As no country is able to solve all regional problems. And there's some challenges here. The Balkans, the East Med, North Africa, the Middle East. Who can the United States turn to partner and help to solve regional challenges? Greece acts with principle. They act with values. They are effective. They are a great partner of the United States. They are the essential partner of the United States. And I would say that the United States needs Greece as much as Greece needs the United States. You know, we're about to celebrate VE Day in Europe. And it's interesting how Europe celebrates the victory over fascism. But Greece, because of their ethos, celebrates their entry into World War II. Όχι Day, in October 28th. Because that is the Greek ethos. Όταν τα πράγματα είναι δύσκολα, τότε θα βρεις ο Έλληνας να στέκεται και να στέκεται δίπλα σας. Και να ξέρετε, δεν θα το ξεχάσω. When the world was paralyzed with fear, Greece showed up and achieved the first Allied victory over fascism. It delayed the Nazis going into Russia. It was the turning point of the war. If it wasn't for Greece, Europe could have looked very, very differently today. And I'm proud of that. It is a pleasure to be the United States ambassador at this time. The cooperation between our two countries is great. We have lots to do. We will do it together. It is no secret that we are capacity building with Greece. I work day in and day out with the Ministry of Defense. The United States operates out of 8 Greek bases. Some of them essential. Some of it essential with what we do to help the Ukrainians. Now, folks, I want to say something about this war. Προσπάθησαν να μπουν μέσα. Δεν μπορώ να θέσω πόσο προσπάθησαν. Κανένας δεν ήρθε πόλεμος. Μόνο ένας ήρθε πόλεμος. Ο κύριος Putin. We tried so hard to avoid it. We really did. But it seems he wasn't content to keep Crimea. He wasn't content to get the Donbass. Αυτό θυμάται τα χρόνια πίσω που όλη η Ουκρανία ήταν στη Ρωσία. Και αυτό ήθελε. And we couldn't avoid it. Έχει λίγο δυσκολίες ο κύριο Πούτιν. Θα έχει περισσότερες δυσκολίες. Γιατί εμείς δεν θα τον αφήσουμε να πάρουμε την Ουκρανία. Γιατί κάθε άλλος που σκέφτεται να πάρει μια άλλη χώρα, να το θεμάται, εμείς δεν θα το αφήσουμε. It is a great pleasure to be with you today. I want to salute you on an outstanding choice of an inductee today, a proud son of Kaválα, and I know that he has received many, many accolades and awards throughout an incredibly distinguished career, but I know that this one means a lot to him. Se esfuerzó para apoyar.